Good evening from the city of San Fernando in La Union, and also welcome back to my channel. And after a long ride from the rice terraces up in the mountain region of Malagkang, then crossing over the Besong Pass and into La Union, I am now arriving in the city of San Fernando and its rush hour traffic nightmare, and just a few kilometers ahead of my guest house. Now checking in at my guest house for the next 2 nights, which is at the family-owned motel that is called Location 180, went without any problems. But that was unfortunately only until I finished my shower, and that's when the whole city went into a massive power outage for an unforeseeable time frame, which came a bit as a surprise to me. But not really for the locals. To make matters worse, it was only the establishments with power generators that could continue their business as usual, and so for my guest house it was sadly not business as normal. Anyway, to enjoy my evening here, I searched for a restaurant that was operating as normal and with a working air conditioning system, as the heat down here in San Fernando was intolerable for a nice dinner without a cooling arrangement. And luckily I found this little gem here, the Amare La Cucina, La Union, which serves good pizzas that are made in a traditional wooden-fired brick oven, and besides the pizzas, they also serve Italian and local fusion dishes, which was a blessing after so many days in the rural mountain area of the Cordilleras. Good morning, and as expected we still don't have power, and as you can imagine, sleeping without air con was an ordeal, but anyway at least the garden here is nice, and the morning breeze is cooler than my room. And now, for my lunch I am checking out the food project La Union, here in San Fernando. It looks quite interesting, as it is a bit like a food court where I can find several food stalls without running around and searching the whole city for restaurants with different food selections. So the idea is not bad. I have been told that this place stands especially out among its competitors because it houses cuisines of all types. Good morning again. The electricity returned late last night, so at least I slept well for my journey to continue now to the city of Alaminos in the province of Pangasinan. Now to get a clearer picture, let's take a quick look at the map of today's journey, from where I will ride on the MacArthur Highway all along the coast and traverse the city of Agoo and Damortis. In Damortis I will part from the MacArthur Highway into the Pangasinan, La Union Road number 55, and then cross into the province of Pangasinan and onwards to the city of Dagupan. From Dagupan I will then continue my journey to Lingayen and Labrador, where I will merge into the National Highway 306 and on to Seoul and Paitan, and then to the city of Alaminos, which will be my final destination for today.
And we are leaving San Fernando, La Union, for Alaminos.
Now as for my stay here in San Fernando, I have to admit that the power outage covering wide parts of the area made me a bit lazy as I couldn't charge any of my electronic gears. But otherwise I have to say that this place is not lacking on attractions, as it is also known as the surfing capital of the north that is endowed with all year-round good and consistent swells. Furthermore, the province is sprinkled with a diverse set of attractions that have been largely overlooked, such as the historic man-made sites like Baluarte Watchtower, the Sierra Park, the La Union Botanical and Zoological Garden, as well as the Tangadan Falls. And then there is the Poro Point Bay Walk, to enjoy some nice romantic sunset if you wish to do so, or if you are more into the history of San Fernando. Then there is the Pandangan Ruins, which is a Spanish-built church ruin with standing buttresses and walls that was looked after by the Carmelite sisters, who are members of a Roman Catholic order of nuns, brothers, and priests who are living a contemplative and spiritual life. And these are just a few things and attraction to mention that will make you fall in love even deeper with San Fernando and the province of La Union. I am just passing Bauang, which is recognized as the fruit basket and the beach capital of the north, due to its pristine beaches that remain a popular destination for swimming and other water sports activities, as well as for its cultivation of yummy grapes and delicious guava apples.
Free entrance, but of course you have to pay the grape you take out. Naturally.
Bauang was formally established as a settlement in the year of 1590 with Fray Agustin Mino, serving as the first minister of this town. Like many other towns in this region, Bauang endured devastating attacks from the southern Moro pirates that were coming up north from the Sulu archipelago region, and they are known locally as the Turong. And these pirates often raided the town at night, and looting the town's churches of valuable items, or stealing cattle, as well as killing the residents, kidnapping the unfortunate women and the children, to sell them as slaves. And so these frequent pirate invasions led to the construction of the coastal watchtowers, known as Baluarte, and placed at strategic locations like at the mouth of the Bauang River. These towers also served as fortresses to defend against the pirates and as refuges for locals who couldn't escape to the hills. But unfortunately only the foundations of these watchtowers are remaining as of today. Entering now Agoo City, whose administrative history predates most of the other Philippine municipalities, as it was established in the same decade as the Spaniards arrived here on Luzon. There is also evidence that Agoo was a major port for foreign traders even before its formal establishment by the Spaniards. During that time it was located a bit further south, in Luyag na Cabalon, which belongs now to the province of Pangasinan. And it was a key coastal trading port that was also known under the name of El Puerto de Japon, and was serving the northwestern parts of Luzon. Its coast formed a very good harbor for foreign ships to enter the Gulf of Lingayen, and making it easy for trading gold that was mined in the Cordillera mountain range, and traveled through the Arangay-Tunglo-Balatok Trail for buying and selling goods in Agoo, as well as in the nearby northern town of Arangay. Then in the month of June of 1572 the town of Agoo was discovered by the Spanish conquistador Juan de Salcedo, when he traversed the Angalacan River and got involved in an altercation with 3 Japanese ships, who then fled the scene. Of course the smart Salcedo followed them until they landed at a Japanese settlement, which was the port of Agoo. Juan de Salcedo then requested the Japanese to pay tribute so they could remain there and teaching the natives their methods of fish culture, rice cultivation, deerskin tanning, duck breeding, and their arts in weapons manufacturing. However, the Spaniards then decided to close down the port of Agoo, and so these Japanese merchants and craftsmen then left and reached for other trading ports in near and faraway lands.
Filipino street market here, left and right.
And here in the town of Damortis, I nearly missed my right turn into the Pangasinan Highway number 55, and into the direction towards the Dagupan city, which I must pass to reach my final destination, which is the city of Alaminos. Great, luckily just 400 meters later, I have here another opportunity to turn to the right and into the highway number 55. This town is also famous for having the first tank-to-tank battle in the United States Army's history, And that was in the year of 1941 when the United States Army's 192nd and 194th Tank Battalion fought the Imperial Japanese Army's 4th Tank Regiment here in Damortis. Unfortunately, the U.S. lost the battle and their commanding officer, Lieutenant Benjamin Morin, was captured by the Japanese and was beaten, tortured and nearly starved to death in the Japanese POW camps for almost all of the remaining time of the Second World War. And I am now officially driving in the province of Pangasinan. And when doing my research about this place here, I learned that like in many other parts of the Philippine Islands, this region was also inhabited by the Austronesian peoples who arrived by sea, sometimes during the Austronesian expansion, which was around 3,000 to 1,500 years before Christ. These settlers then established the communities along the Lingayen Gulf and were part of the emerging ancient Austronesian trade routes that started in the 8th century Anno Domini and reached as far as India, China, and Japan. The main production sites and products was in the coastal areas and was the salt making, which is also the origin of the name Pangasinan, that literally means the place of salt making. Pangasinan was also identified with Fengchiashilan, which is the Chinese name for the pre-colonial Philippine state of Pangasinan. That was recorded in the Chinese documents of the Ming Dynasty. It is also believed that between the year of 1403 to 1405, the Pangasinans did send emissaries to China with symbolic tributes that seemed to be necessary to establish a successful trade relations between them. And so Pangasinan, in the 16th century when the Spanish conquistadores arrived, became known as the Port of Japan by the Spaniards. It is also said that during these time the local people already wore nice native clothing along with Japanese and Chinese silks. Moreover, it was a big trend to blacken their teeth, as white teeth would look too animal-like for that time of fashion. Furthermore, they used porcelain jars that was common in Japanese and Chinese homes and had good knowledge of Japanese-style gunpowder weapons, which they also used in the naval battles. It was already during that time a very busy place, as many international traders from across Asia came here primarily for the gold and the slave trade, but also for the deerskins, civet, and other local products. And so Pangasinan had a much more extensive trade network with Japan and China, in comparison to the other places in Luzon. I am now crossing the swampland here on the north side of Dagupan City, which is part of the fertile Agoo River Valley and the larger central Luzon Plains. The city of Dagupan is as of today an important and major commercial and financial center here in the north of Manila, and is also famous for its milkfish production, which is locally known as bangus. And as I am now continuing to circumnavigate the Gulf of Lingayen until I reach the city of Alaminos, which will be another 60 kilometers or so. Let's talk a bit about this large gulf here on the northwestern side of Luzon. And I learned that the Gulf of Lingayen is stretching approximately 56 kilometers in length and 41 kilometers in width, and is nicely framed by the provinces of Pangasinan and Layunin and located between the Zambales Mountains and the Cordillera Central Mountain Range, and connected to the Agoo River and to the Balili River that both drain into the Gulf of Lingayen. The Gulf also has numerous of beautiful islands, with the most famous one being the 100 Islands National Park. This tourist attraction features 123 small-sized islands, with the largest island being the Caburian Island, which constitutes the municipality of Anda, Pangasinan, and is followed by the Santiago Island at the mouth of the Gulf. Furthermore, the Gulf's shoreline from Labrador to San Fabian is characterized by a long gray sand beach, with other well-known beaches that are located at the Buenwantandalagan Beach, the Balanao Beach, and the San Fernando City Beach. Unfortunately, the waters of the Lingayen Gulf are a bit murky, and that is due to its sandy bottom. Also, sadly, all the coral reefs were destroyed by the now prohibited dynamite fishing method, and although efforts are made to restore some of them, especially inside the 100 Islands National Park, it is a long and difficult process. Entering now the town of Labrador, which was formerly known as San Isidro Labrador, after its patron saint, Saint Isidro, which literally means Isidore the laborer or Isidore the farmer. Anyway, the town of San Isidro Labrador was created in the year of 1754 and headed by a Captain Vicente Escano. It then later in the year of 1939 became an independent town with its new name of Labrador. This town is also considered to be one of the safest towns here in this province, as it is flood water free, and almost earthquake free because it is quite far from the nearest fault lines. Moreover, Labrador also has several nice spots for you to visit, and these are the Tinakayan Falls, a hidden gem nestled in the lush jungle of Labrador. Then there is the tallest mountain in Pangasinan, which is the 750-meter high Mount San Isidro, and of course, not to be forgotten are the several beautiful beaches along its attractive coastlines here. And here is one of the many cockfighting arenas, which according to Antonio Pigafetta, the Italian diarist aboard the Ferdinand Magellan's expedition in the year of 1521, was already a flourishing sport here in the pre-colonial time of the Philippines. Cockfighting, which is locally termed as Sabong, remains a popular pastime sport here in the Philippines, and are usually held in cockpits like this, every week, with bets that are usually taken by the Cristo, so named because of his outstretched hands when calling out wagers from the audience from memory. The Philippines has also hosted several World Slasher Cup derbies, held biennially at the Smart Araneta Coliseum in Quezon City, where the world's leading game fowl breeders gather for the World Slasher Cup, which is also known as the Olympics of the Cockfighting. And after a long ride from San Fernando that started today morning, I am now arriving in the city of Alaminos that was formerly part of Balaneo, and tracing its roots to a barrio that was named Casbaran, or as of today, Barangay Balayadon, which was formerly a part of the Zambales. It eventually grew in size when the people from Suyang, which is the present-day barangay of Zaragoza in Balaneo, relocated here to this area in the year of 1737. Then in the year of 1747, the town of Casbaran became independent. 10 years later it was attacked by a fire that engulfed due to a political and economical conflict, and they tried to rebuild the town but another conflict happened, making them leave for a place called Nansangan, which is now the present-day barangay of Inarangan. Then in the year of 1766, they found refuge at a plateau that is now the poblation of Alaminos, and named it Sarapsop. The Ilocano settlers from Pauay, which is up north in the Ilocos Norte, then moved southwards and stayed here, helping to increase the small population of the town. Sarapsop was then in the year of 1872 renamed to its final name of Alaminos, and then later in the year of 1903, annexed to the province of Pangasinan. I am now riding on my final leg for today, on the Alaminos Lookout Road towards the Lookout Park, which is also the gateway to the 100 Islands National Park, and where my guest house, the Red Doors at Maryland Transient, Alaminos Pangasinan, should be located. Well, let's see if I find it right on my first approach. And yes, I found my guest house right on my first approach. Just a little U-turn was necessary, and on this final note, I will also end my video for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and I am looking forward to see you back in my next part, when I will explore the city of Alaminos here in Pangasinan. So don't miss it, and cheers to all of you, and I am looking forward to meeting you again in my next upcoming episode, which will be the 15th episode of this season.